I'll probably digress a little bit here. Look, the feeling you have, let's just not talk about science at all. Let's just go by anecdotal evidence that you have when you train in hills, then you go and do a race on the flat. You just feel like you've been released. You have no resistance. You are almost free running. And that is something that I think people don't really experience unless they've trained in the hills. And the minute you go onto a fast flat course, it feels incredible. You feel like you're invincible. You can just run fast, and yet you haven't done any fast running in your training. And that is one of the key things that is psychologically really an advantage. And every advantage we're looking for in training, whether it be physical or mental, it is important. If it's a placebo effect, then great, we'll take it. But it's not a placebo effect. It is well documented that being strong in the legs from training in the hills will absolutely make you a faster runner on the flat.
Yeah, spot on. And look, we'll be the first to say that there isn't overwhelming evidence to say that, scientific evidence to say that hill running is superior to flat intervals. That's just not the case. And that is not what we're saying. We're saying that hill running has its benefits in other ways. Obviously they were both running threshold on the flat, running threshold on the hills will both improve everything that you want it to, improve your VO2 max and improve your running ability. But as we're going through now, there's just so many benefits to the hill training that are added bonuses. And that's kind of what we want to go through. And,
just on that point, George, before we move on, the back half of any event, whether you're running a fresh 5K, 10K, half marathon or marathon, the back end is when you're searching to hold, that third quarter. If you break a 10K into 2.5, 5K, 7.5K, 10K, that 5 to 7.5K is the third quarter, the premiership quarter. And if you've been doing the strength work, you can hold your pace or possibly negative split by absolutely being strong when it counts. And if you've just been taking the easy option, and it's not the easy option, I shouldn't say that, taking the option of avoiding hills, you will not feel the same invincibility in that third quarter. You know yourself from your own training when you've, I didn't fade in that important section because we can all run fast in the last 2.5K because we're nearly home. But, we're fresh to run the first 2.5K and the second 2.5K, we're settling into the race. But the third 2.5K is when we draw on that strength. And in a triathlon, that's the second half of the marathon or the half marathon where you can hold the same pace that you're trying to hold from start to finish. Whereas you will fade if you don't have that strength and stability that you've been training for 6 months. And we're not saying that this is every session you should be doing is in a hill. That's not what we're saying either. But I've got to make that point. One of the key things is that strength when it counts, when you're being tested and you want to hold the pace that you've set yourself in the race plan, and all of a sudden you start to feel yourself fade. In the back of your mind, bloody hell, I've run that many hills. I can do this, and you start backing yourself, and all of a sudden you come through that period, and now you're looking at the finish.